Canada's Prime Minister, Mark Carney, has never been a mayor, never been a premier, never been a cabinet minister, and before becoming Prime Minister had never even been elected to public office. So, how did Mark Carney get here? Mark Carney was born in Fort Smith, Northwest Territories, and raised in Edmonton, Alberta. Like his nemesis Pierre, both of his parents were teachers, and as a young man he was known as much for hockey as academics. He attended Harvard University, where he studied economics and played goalie on the varsity hockey team while receiving financial aid and a scholarship. After Harvard, he earned both a master's degree and a doctorate in economics from Oxford University. It was while studying at Oxford he met fellow economist Diana Fox. The two would later marry, raise 4 children, and build careers centered around economics and public policy. After graduation, Carney spent roughly 13 years working for Goldman Sachs in London, Tokyo, New York, and Toronto. In 2003, he left the private sector and entered public service. Then in 2008, Conservative Prime Minister Stephen Harper appointed him Governor of the Bank of Canada, just as the global financial crisis was beginning. Canada did weather the financial crisis better than many comparable countries, and both the Harper government and the Bank of Canada received credit for helping steer the country through that period. In 2013, Carney became the first non-British governor of the Bank of England in the institution's history. During his tenure, he navigated major events, including Brexit and the early stages of the COVID pandemic. Before the Brexit referendum, Carney warned that leaving the European Union could create economic uncertainty. After the vote, he worked to help stabilize financial markets and reassure investors during a period of significant change. He also became involved in everybody's favorite topic, the World Economic Forum, or WEF, which is a global organization that brings together political leaders, business leaders, economists, academics, and policy experts to discuss international issues. Supporters see that experience as valuable because it gives the future Prime Minister direct access to global leaders and experts, helping them understand the economic and political issues that affect Canada. Critics argue that organizations can sometimes become disconnected from the concerns of ordinary citizens. However, please consider 2 things. 1, these relationships are the reason the Prime Minister has been able to build trade relationships overseas at a time when our closest neighbor is an unreliable partner. And secondly, Polyev is part of the International Democracy Union, the IDU, an organization that is not such free thinkers. I will do a video on them at a later date. After leaving the Bank of England, Carney joined Brookfield Asset Management as vice chair and later chaired part of its asset management business. In 2021, Carney published a book called Values, Building a Better World for All. I've read it, it's fantastic. The book is important because it gives us insight into how he thinks. Its central argument is that modern societies have become very good at measuring what has a price, but not always what has value. Carney also goes on to argue that trust, fairness, resilience, sustainability, community, and long-term thinking should play a larger role in economic and political decision-making. Whether you agree with that philosophy or not, the book offers a window into the ideas that have shaped his career and now influence his approach to leadership. And then, in January 2025, he left Brookfield and entered federal politics. This has been up for debate. He left Brookfield in January 2025. Despite never having held elected office, he won Liberal leadership and became Canada's 24th Prime Minister. So that's basically the Mark Carney story. Teacher's son, hockey goalie, Harvard, Oxford, Goldman Sachs, Bank of Canada, Bank of England, Brookfield executive author, and eventually Prime Minister. And before you head to those comments, remember that none of us are completely free from bias, including myself. If you're going to add to the conversation about the Prime Minister, please make sure what you're sharing is accurate, verifiable, and based on facts rather than assumptions, rumors, or partisan talking points. It's perfectly fine to have your own team. You do not have to be Team Carney. However, try to make sure you're reacting to who he actually is and what he's actually done, not what someone else told you he is. If I missed something important, feel free to add it below. I am doing a TikTok, not an essay, but please keep it factual. Part 2 on Pierre is coming soon.